This is taking me much longer than what I thought today. So we've had loads of support from people, loads of questions. Thank you very much. We tend to specialise in severe learning difficulties, and that's often where my conversations go. We've had requests from parents that have students and children in mainstream schools that are not neurotypical, but seem to be left behind because they're verbal, or they can cater for themselves, or they're perhaps not as behavioural. They're not being listened to, helped with those sorts of things. One of the first things I would always do in those situations is provide visual supports. They can be in whatever capacity or way that you want, but as a teacher, if you've got 3 tasks you need to complete and you tell your children the 3 tasks and then don't give them any visual support after that, they won't remember. It's impossible for neurotypical or neurodivergent, and they'll keep on asking, and that's where often the friction can come. Schools should be facilitating and helping students even if they are not diagnosed with neurodivergence. So, for instance, the 0 to 25 SEND framework says that they should be helping people and they should be making reasonable adjustments regardless of whether they have an EHCP or they don't have an EHCP. For me, I wish we could use a lot of the supports and structures and skills that are used in SEN teaching in mainstream, because a lot of it is just good practice. Seeing where those behaviours come from, being proactive and trying to actually avoid confrontation in the first place. You know, if people don't know how long the lesson is for, or how long they're doing an activity for, how hard it is, how many words they should be using, it can be confusing for them. And often that confusion can come out in aggression or defiance or those sorts of things, or abscondence. You know, they don't turn up because that lesson's effort, so they just don't go to school, or anxiety and they won't go into school in the first place. For me, there's a couple of things I would love people to know that they perhaps might not know in mainstream schools. One, if the school phones up and says, your child has misbehaved, can you come and collect your child? If they are not suspending your child, the answer should be no, because actually that counts as a backdoor exclusion, and Ofsted absolutely hate that. So that school is there to cater for your child. They need to do that. I think secondly as well is part-time timetables. Often parents agree to part-time timetables. Really and truly, they should only be in place so they can train up staff, so they can change the environment, the situation, plan ahead, and they should be a very temporary thing. You do not have to agree to a part-time timetable. Yes, that has a massive impact on your child, but actually it's the school that should be catering for it, and if they can't meet need, they need to be saying that out loud. So always go through the process. Don't make it easier for the schools, and that's me coming as a teacher, because we know that, you know, we should be suspending. That's the way it should be going. And actually, you know, if there are those rules, fair enough. But often primary schools especially don't listen to those things and phone up and say, oh, can you come and collect your child? And you know, the answer should be no. Obviously, if they suspend your child, yes, pick up your child. But they should be working towards how to make it better and how to facilitate this. One of the ones, more personal story, I know someone who, at the end of each lesson, this child would, in a mainstream primary school, would get upset, dysregulated, and get very angry and cause quite a bit of trouble. But what was happening is they were completing their work. They weren't being given any more work, and they had to sit there with their hands on the table for 10 minutes waiting for everyone else to finish. And now, if that was me, I would cause absolute merry hell. And that's what this child did, who's a family member of mine, so that's fine. But for us, for any teacher, you go, don't just let them sit there and not do anything. That could be your plenary. Either way, give them a reading book, give them something to do so they actually are doing something functional. And that's what everyone should be doing, whether you're a special needs teacher, a primary school teacher, or a parent. You know, just that sitting there is never going to work. So have a little think about it and see whether that's relevant or helpful to you.